How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build that positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here today because in this episode, we're going to talk about how to tap into your higher self if you want to know what you can do, who you can be, and how you can achieve that positive experience. This is going to be the episode for you because we're going to break that down. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So pick a word. It could be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say this word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. All right, well, we're going to take another deep breath. This one's about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so that we can receive the message that we need to hear to get us in that positive energy. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. Well, before we get started, if there's something that resonates with you or something that you take away from this episode, if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can actually leave a comment below. Not only does that help me know what you enjoy or learn or take away from each episode, someone else might read your comment and it might inspire them to give this episode a listen. I want to make this the #1 mindset podcast in the world, and the best way to do that is together. So whether you leave a comment or share it with somebody, it means the absolute world to me, and I could never thank you enough. But let's dive into today's episode. So how do you know your true self? What is true self and what are they capable of? I've realized that there's two things, and we might actually be identifying with the lower frequency when the higher frequency version is here for us. So the first one, probably the thing that we most identify with, is us, like the being that we are, the person that was born, this body, the life that it's lived up to this point, your job, your family, your weight, your bank account, like all of these things, what your boss might think of you, the surrounding people might think of you. Like we just have this built up persona that we think we are. And then there's the other half. This one is the most important one. This is your spirit, your soul, your energy. You see, we often don't identify with that. We identify with the physical. But this physical has a beginning and an end. This physical is limited. This physical only has the value of the experiences that we've gone through in this moment of time. But your energetic self, your soul, your high energy, has infinite value, has always existed and always will, because it's part of the universe. It's part of God. It's the extension above. And so why don't we identify with that? You see, when you start identifying with your soul, with your spirit, you start realizing how powerful you are. You start realizing how the physical world shouldn't affect you. In fact, that you are just visiting it, that you are not of it. That you are not limited to the amount of school you've had. You're not limited to the background that you come from. You're not limited to your heritage. You're not limited to anything physical because you're an energetic being having a human or physical experience. So why don't you start identifying with your soul? You see, your soul is equal to everyone else's. Your energy, your essence, is equal. It's the highest value thing it is. It's love. It's that bright frequency. And so when you identify with that, you realize you are equal with everybody. There is nobody below you. There is nobody above you. So anybody that is doing something, you are capable of doing it too. Anybody that has something, you are capable of having it too. Anybody that experiences something, you are capable of experiencing it too, because your soul, your energy is just as valuable, is just as powerful, has been here. It knows what it can do. We just have to tap into it. So choose to hold yourself to that high standard of your frequency, to your soul. Remember that you have it. Remember that you have this experience, which is a gift of God, to make things better, to be that rising tide, to be the love frequency. You are not here to be the accountant. You are not here to be a fireman. You are not here to be a judge, a wife, a husband, a mother, a dad, a father, a son, all of that. You are experiencing those things in whatever capacity your path takes you, but you are not them. You are not the place you're from. You are not the way your parents were. Those are just things that you experience, and you can create that experience continually. That's what most people do. We get in a cycle of creation where we just create what we understand, which is the past, because we remember it. And so we create the same situations over and over. That's why there's generational traumas, generational issues, because each body keeps identifying with the body and forgetting the power within. And so you come here again and again and again. It's the same lesson over and over and over. It's just like that person you see that keeps dating the same type of relationship and it keeps going the same way, or they keep getting the same job and it keeps ending in the same way. You see the pattern externally, but yet you're missing it internally. You're missing how you are just measuring yourself up to the physical. This body belongs to the earth. That's where it came from. That's where it'll go. There will be a time when the body is not remembered. Whether it's 50 years, 100 years, 150 years, it will not be remembered. But your soul, your energy, your frequency, well, that essence will continue. Whether it's here on earth or into the universe, heaven, whatever you believe is next, it knows that there's more. We just have to remember that. We have to go back to that and hold ourselves to that standard. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were here with a purpose, that you came here to achieve something, whatever you're being called to do, and that was the sole purpose, versus kind of thinking that, or maybe believing it, if you fully believed it and served that completely, served that calling, that mission, that purpose, you would be invincible. There would be nothing that could stop you, because you'd stop playing by the rules of the earth. You'd stop playing by rules of the universal, truths, or whatever that we say that is here on planet Earth, what your friends do, what your boss does, what your influences do, how your parents lived. You would stop playing by those, and you would only hold yourself accountable to the highest energy, which anything is possible. With those words, with those frequencies, with that mindset, mountains are moved. That's how people do it. They recognize their higher calling. Now, of course, people can get attached to the wrong calling, to the wrong higher calling. So as a safety measure, love should always be the first part. How is what you're doing loving whatever it's affecting? How is what you're doing is uplifting, is healing, is growing what it's affecting? If it's having the opposite effect of that, if it's hurt that you're causing, if you're taking away from somebody, if you're punishing somebody, if you're doing anything negative like that, then that's not your calling. Your calling should always be an uplifting thing to others, should always be a loving thing to others. That's how you follow your guidance system. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be the human version of you that has limitations, that has generational curses, that came from a certain background, that doesn't have, familiarity with the area you're in? Or do you want to identify with your powerful spirit, your soul, that's here to learn, expand, and grow, but knows it's not of here? That knows that even though it's physical, that everything in the physical is still controlled by energy. That knows that the frequency that you reside in creates the experience that you have. That knows that it's up to you to change that frequency. That there's nothing anyone else could ever do to put you in a different frequency. It's your choice, because it's an internal level. Meaning how you are within is how you experience the world. Even during the most terrible things, the most painful things, the most hurtful things, it's still your perspective that will set you free. Because eventually, no matter how bad it is, our physical experience ends and our energetic experience continues. So everything from here you take with you as far as the experience. Nothing of the physical we take with us. You don't take the job. You don't take the status, you don't take the money, you don't take the friends, you don't take, the fame. None of that goes with you. None of that has any value outside of the physical. It's only valuable because it's low-level things. How you are in the inside is all that matters. The energy that comes within you and radiates out at you is all that matters, because that dictates the state of flow that you're in. The frequency that you're in is based upon how you're operating. And that's all the real calling is meant to do, is to level you up. The highest frequency, God, love, whatever that is to you, the highest frequency is calling you back. It can't bring you there because of the law of attraction. You see, the law of attraction says like attracts like. So frequencies have to be within the frequency. So if you want to be in the highest love frequency, you have to operate that so that you could be in that. If you're not operating in that, then you can't be in that. It's not because the highest frequency people don't want you there. You are a creator, meaning you create energy. So if you're vibing or you're operating at a certain frequency, you're going to create more of that, and that'll be your experience. So you can't be there without learning the ability to create it within. That's this whole experience. So look at the two sides, physical side, energetic side. Which one are you going to be from now on? Which one are you going to put the focus on from now on? Which one are you going to hold yourself accountable from now on? The one that expires, the one that'll be forgotten, the one that turns to dirt, or the infinite? Follow your source, connect to your energy, and become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a perspective that changes the way you're looking at yourself and what you truly are. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook group all down below. So I appreciate all the follows there. And if you want to level up, if you like the way this podcast is, if you think your mindset could use the shift, there's two ways that you can work with me. I have my one-on-one mindset coaching where we really dive into what it is that you need to do, what it is that you want to shift, and how you can become that person, with weekly calls every single week, just one-on-one, you and I. I have some spots available for that. I also have my new group, Freedom Fundamentals, with my partner, Eric McAvoy. This is tapping into health, wealth, and happiness. We do 2 full hour calls every single week where we dive into real estate so you can create some money yourself, even if you have no experience. Some of the folks in there are generating, I think we just had one student who is going to hit $45,000 in less than 30 days. Now, that's not the norm, and that's not normally what I talk about. But when you get in there and you have the path, you have the right people around you, anything is possible. So if you want more information on that, you can reach out to me via Instagram, or there's a link down below. If you fill that out, I will get back to you as soon as possible. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.